All right. Okay, welcome everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next is roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman McKay.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Collins.
Here.
Alderman Osteen. Alderman George. Mayor Ross.
Here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the citizens' communication. This is a time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may also be sent to the city clerk at tberreth, B-E-R-R-E-T-H, at osagebeach.org, no later than 10 a.m. on the board's meeting day, the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens' communications section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any item not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The Mayor and Board of Aldermen welcome and value input and feedback from the public. Is there anyone here in person who would like to address the board? Mr. Newhart, come on up. Please sign in, and if the red light's not on, please push it before you start speaking. Is there a red light on that one, guys?
A red light. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you are, per your agenda, slated to take some significant action tonight that will have a great impact. Whatever that might be, I think still remains to be seen. Given the nature of that impact vis-a-vis the marketplace proposal, I would submit that you would take a greater time. I would also ask you rhetorically if each and every one of you, before you vote on this, has read the entirety of this proposal. That's for you in your own hearts to decide. Let me ask this question as well, perhaps rhetorically. Have you sought any third-party evaluations? If not, I would sincerely hope that you would defer doing a final action on this. Have you negotiated for a better deal? You do this for bids for projects of much smaller size and much less impact for the city and the community of the Lake of the Ozarks. I would submit the same should apply here. You have an opportunity here tonight to pause, take a deeper look, research things more, seek unbiased third-party evaluation before you proceed on something that could have quite an impact, which remains yet to be seen. I would submit, especially since it appears that there's been no third party, disinterested party who's done a full evaluation of this. It's also come to light in media in these last few days that there's been a bit of a hiccup regarding another project that you all have given your approval to in recent months, recent years. I would submit we really need to look much more deeply at this. I say this not to cast any aspersions on any one individual or any entity, but I would urge you, caution, move slowly. Fast governance is not good governance. With that in mind, I would also like to commend you for, in this board, it appears obvious that you do take seriously first and second readings being split between more than one meeting. And for that, I do commend you. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Newhart. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? All right, seeing none, we'll move forward. One item before we go to approval is the consent agenda. To my left is Todd Miller. Todd Miller is our new city attorney. Just wanted to make sure that everyone was introduced, and we thank Todd for being here tonight, and we expect him to be here in the future for a while. Thank you. Next is approval of the consent agenda. If the board desires, the consent agenda may be approved by a single motion. The consent agenda consists of the minutes of the Board of Aldermen meeting May 21st, 2026 and May 26, 2026, as well as the bills list from June 4th of 2026. Are there any questions around the bills list or the minutes? Seeing none, I just need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Collins, do I hear a second? Alderman Rucker?
Question first.
Okay.
Did the changes get made, Tara?
The change for your 17th and stuff? The 17th
Yes.
and 19th?
Yes. Okay, second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the service award. This is a wonderful to see. We have a presentation for Mr. Dan Penrod, one of our ambulance employees for 10 years, and let Todd take this one.
Be louder enough.
There's one right there that's already on too. Right behind Maddie's computer.
Sorry about that. I'd like to congratulate Dan, our EMT Dan Penrod, for his 10 years of service with the city as of June 1st. Dan started with us back in 16 as a part-time EMT and moved to full-time in December of 2019. Congratulations and thank you for your service. This is a certificate of appreciation and you get your 10-year pin. I did order a plaque, but it hasn't come in yet. So you will get it as soon as it gets here. So congratulations.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate all you do. Okay. Next, we will start into unfinished business, Bill 2661, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a contract with Thomas Construction for the water and sewer service line replacement in an amount of $10,066 with a 5% contingency. This is the second reading. Jeff Fisher, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I'll say is that subsequent discussions between the project manager and the contractor since the last meeting have been very positive, and I feel like we'll be in good shape. I'll take any questions.
Very good. Does anyone have any questions?
One,
Go ahead, Alderman Hoffman.
the 5% contingency, did that need to change because we changed contractors, or is that a standard number?
Well, that's a good question. I think we'll be all right. I don't want to change it now. Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. I just wondering if, do we have a standard on that, or is that something that we're kind of evaluating job to job?
Yeah, it's kind of case by case.
Okay.
Yep,
Just wanted to know the process.
yep. Appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve?
Alderman Rucker, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call, please.
Alderman Collins?
Yes.
Alderman McKay?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen? Alderman George?
Motion carries. Next item is Bill 26-66, an ordinance designating a portion of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri as a redevelopment area, approving the Osage Beach Marketplace Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Plan, and making findings related thereto. This is the second reading, and this is Mark Spikerman with Gilmore Bell, who I believe is with us. He just popped on. Mark, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Mayor.
Okay, go
Thank you
ahead.
very much. Yeah, this is the ordinance that was first read at the last board meeting that approves the redevelopment plan. That document is the 20,000-foot level view of the proposed redevelopment activities for the site. If it is approved tonight, you then have 10 years from tonight to activate the TIF in the area. The activation occurs pursuant to the other ordinance on your agenda, the ordinance approving the redevelopment project. Happy to answer any questions, but right now we recommend approval of the ordinance approving the plan.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any questions from the board? Alderman Rucker.
Mark, is the process of, this is the plan, and then our next, one of the steps we have is the agreement. is the agreement approved after Bill 2667 would be approved?
The agreement, I'm sorry, 2667 is the project ordinance. Is that correct? The next one on your agenda?
Correct.
Yeah. The agreement may or may not be approved either before or simultaneously with that ordinance 2667. That you can have an agreement before the project is activated.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a comment.
Alderman Collins.
I just want to say that when I was leaving my house to come here tonight, two of my neighbors flagged me down to remind me how excited they are about this project and to make sure that I vote yes for it tonight. But I did want to address the gentleman that spoke to us. It does seem like we're going really quickly in back-to-back meetings, but this has been ongoing negotiations and discussions for, 9 months or so, 10 months or so. And I think all of us have talked to other people, gotten a lot of outside opinions and feedback, and we absolutely have done our due diligence on this. This isn't taken lightly by any of us. We absolutely understand the concerns, and we're pretty confident that we can come to a really good deal when we are on the agreement stage. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I just need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Collins, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman McKay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen. Alderman George. Alderman Collins.
Yes.
Alderman McKay.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Bill 2667, an ordinance approving a redevelopment project for the Osage Beach Marketplace Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Area, adopting tax increment financing with respect thereto, and authorizing certain actions by city officials. Mark Spikerman, Gilmore Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. As noted before, this is the proposed ordinance that would actually start the what we call the TIF clock. TIF can be in place for up to 23 years. So upon passage of this ordinance, that 23-year clock would start. Standard practice around the state often is to table an ordinance like this until the project is closer to construction. We hope that's very soon, but we can preserve even a few weeks or months of the TIF clock, make the financing of the project easier by just tabling this for the time being.
Okay. Are there any questions? Alderman Rucker.
Sorry, my hearing aids.
Go ahead.
And it's kind of difficult. Explain the question in reference to, we need to approve this before construction starts or right after construction starts?
Mark, did you hear that question?
Yeah, there are a couple things that will trigger when we come back to ask for your approval. Those things are construction, and also if there are any issuance of TIF obligations, notes, or bonds.
Okay.
This ordinance would have to be approved before there could be any issuance of TIF notes or bonds.
Did you hear that, Kevin?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Hoffman.
Are you recommending that we table for a date to be determined later?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. That's all I needed. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay.
Just a comment.
Alderman Rucker. Go
I don't
ahead.
want this thing to get lost. I mean, I don't really think it will, but can we table it for a month and then make it come up again? Or 2 months, somewhere or another, so it doesn't get
Well,
lost?
I'm not I guess we could. I'm not sure what that's going to accomplish, because until they either start construction or until some bonds are issued, then there's no value in it other than it might start the clock when we wouldn't want the clock to start. Would that be accurate, Mark?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Go ahead, Alderman Collins.
If we table it to a certain date and we actually want to start it prior to that date, presumably we couldn't look at it earlier?
Sure. We could, yeah. We would just, I would think that if you're tabling it to a certain date, then that would just mean it needs to come back up by that date. But it could always come up previous to that. Okay. Alderman Rucker.
I'm okay with it. I'll put it on my calendar to mark my brain.
There we go.
Very good.
That'll satisfy me.
That'd be great. Okay.
Motion to table.
Alderman Collins, do I hear a second?
Second.
Was that Alderman Hoffman?
Yep.
All right. Do we need a roll call for that?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is now new business. Public hearing 54/42 Highways Junction, Osage Beach Community Improvement District. We will have this will be Mark Spikerman.
Yes, the city has received a petition for the creation of the 5442 Junction Community Improvement District. The Community Improvement District Act requires that the city hold a public hearing with respect to the proposed Community Improvement District. We have two representatives of the petitioner here with us, Belinda Phillips and Rick Randall. And I would recommend that you open the public hearing and receive comment both from the petitioner and any members of the public who would like to speak on the matter.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone here that would like to speak one way or another on this proposal? Yes, sir. Come on up, and if you would introduce yourself and please sign in.
Good evening. Thanks for your time. My name is Jay Menard. I am the Vice President of the Camden County Library District. I've been attempting to get a hold of the owners of part of that property for a couple of months now. So I guess the reason nobody's getting back to me on it is because it's tied up in this. That would be a perfect spot to move the Osage Beach Library. And if that's something that the board would consider, that would be an absolutely wonderful thing for you to do. We'd like to put a library and a community center building on that area.
Okay. Well, Ms. Williams, who's here, and I can get back with you later if you'll sign in, I believe owns the property, and for what property that hasn't been developed so far or under contract, I'm sure she would be the right person to discuss possibly.
Okay.
If you'll leave your information there, we will, with Ms. Williams' approval, we will be glad to give this gentleman your number and let him reach out to you. Would that be okay, Ms. Williams? Or
Sure, that's fine. This is the first I've heard of this.
I understand. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first we've brought it up publicly. So far, we've only talked about it in our library meetings.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Be glad to get you connected.
Okay, I left you my phone number.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak for or against this community improvement district from the public? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, I just need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Alderman Hoffman, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is Bill 2659, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, approving the petition to establish the 5442 Junction Osage Beach Community Improvement District, approving a cooperation agreement in connection with the development of property within the Community Improvement District, and authorizing and directing further action in connection therewith. This is a second reading. This has my name on it, but I think I'm going to let Mark Spikerman take over for me. Mr. Spikerman.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the proposed ordinance that would officially create the Community Improvement District. It also approves a cooperation agreement between the district and the city It's a standard form cooperation agreement that the city has used with other community improvement districts in the area. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Does the board have Alderman Hoffman?
Well, this is kind of just a follow-up because that caught me off guard about the library. One, was he referring to the city library or the Camden
County Library, I believe.
Camden County Library? Well, that being said, Mark, is there any benefit or to a library being there? Would it be affected? Like, could they not even be in a CID? I just don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be neutral as to a library being in there. If the library were in a CID, it would really get no benefit, nor would it have any burden by the CID.
Right, because it's all about taxable income, or
Yeah.
right, revenue.
Yeah, they're not generating sales tax at the library.
Right. Okay. I was just wondering. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay. Seeing none, I just need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call, please.
Alderman McKay.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Collins.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen. Alderman George.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for zooming in, for lack of a better term. You're welcome to stay in, I guess, but we're going to move on.
Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing relating to retail sales and discharging of fireworks inside the city limits. This came up recently from one of the Alderman Hoffman, who will kind of lead that on the next item. But I wanted, as it came up and it was kind of, for lack of a better term, a little bit late in the game in the year, I wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for the public to be heard. So with that, we're going to open a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to discuss or present to the board any comments for or against us discharging of fireworks inside the city limits on the ordinance that, or the proposed ordinance that we're going to have discussion on later? All right, going once, going twice. Then I just need to have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close hearing.
Alderman Rucker, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman McKay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll move on. This is a discussion item for the Board of Aldermen on fireworks ordinance changes relating to retail sales and discharging of fireworks inside the city limits. I'm going to hand this over to Alderman Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this was something I had intended to tackle a little bit earlier. Got a little sidetracked. We just got really busy around election time this year. But on Memorial Day, I had several constituents come up to me and out in the town and asking me if they're going to be able to shoot off fireworks this 4th of July. Based on the fact that we had an ordinance at least partially written earlier, and it addressed the possibility of shooting off fireworks inside the city limits, also possibly selling them inside of city limits. I thought it was appropriate to try and push it through, or at least get it started for the 4th of July. One, I think we're missing some sales tax here. You know, if we sell them year-round in Osage Beach, but they only get shot off legally at a certain time, the day before, the day after, and the holiday itself. They're shooting them off now as it is. I see them all over the city. So I am personally of the opinion of we should allow people to shoot off fireworks the day before, the day after, and the holiday itself. And I would be okay with people getting a business license and selling fireworks inside of Osage Beach. And pass it on to my fellow aldermen.
All right. So anybody that wants to go first? Alderman Rucker.
We were supposed to have some paperwork on the docket.
Yep, that's my fault.
Okay.
I don't have it.
That's kind of an
Can we
important
get
piece
that
of
printed
this.
up real quick, possibly? Sorry, folks. We had a unique day this afternoon, but it seems like they're all that way.
Well, First of all, I think we're moving extremely too fast. That's the first thing. This needs to take some time. There is a lot of material that needs to be looked at, whether it's the sale of the fireworks, whether it's the discharge of the fireworks. We have a process right now to where people can shoot them off with a permit. We have that in place and have had that in place for ever, for a long, long time. I can't remember when we didn't. And we've also had, we have not allowed sale and we've not allowed discharge since I don't know when. I didn't go back and look when, but it may have been back in the 80s or 90s or something like that. So, or maybe even before that. As far as I know, we've never allowed them since we've been a city, but that's not 100% positive. So anyway, if we're going to move forward to do it, then there's a lot of dotting the i's and crossing the t's. We had some information brought to us just today from our interim city attorney. We had some information brought to us by the police chief. We had some information, I think, brought to us by our building inspector on reference to our codes. So it's a lot of information to go through. And again, I say if, because right now I'm opposed to it. But if we're going to move forward with it, we need to make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's and do it right, rather than jumping into it quickly, not getting it done right, so that somebody can be able to shoot it here in another month. I think the process needs to be taken a little bit longer than what it is. So I'd be happy to go into the details of some of my changes, but if the majority of the board is of that opinion that we move forward in a slower pace, then there's some of this that needs to be digested, especially with the information that we just got today to look at. So that's my 2 cents.
Just for clarity, and I haven't been on email as much as I would have hoped to have been today for some things that we had to deal with. What you received from Todd Miller today, I don't think is materially different than what we originally put on for everybody to consider.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, I haven't checked my email.
Because I had my changes that I was going to suggest.
Okay.
And the changes that I'm suggesting is based on bill number 26. It's in the packet.
Okay.
And the changes that we received from Mr. Miller are based on the original bill that you put together back in 2018.
Right. I thought that's the one that was
No, there's
sent
a lot
out
of
earlier
significant
about a
differences.
week ago.
There's some differences between those.
Okay, that's
Between
fine.
us.
I appreciate your comments, but just for clarity. So who else, anyone else have, Alderman Collins?
I just want to say that, in theory, I absolutely support this. I think we should be selling them and charging sales tax on it. And I think we've come a long way on fireworks, and I see no reason not to let people shoot them off on a limited basis the day before, the day after. That said, Alderman Rucker raised some very good concerns in the email that he sent earlier today, and I would love for those concerns to be incorporated into the ordinance before we vote on it. And that's all.
Thank you. Does Alderman McKay have any comments before I recognize Alderman Hoffman again?
My main question was, have we looked into statistics as far as police involvement? You know, obviously it's illegal to shoot them off. I mean, is there overtaxing the season that, and also fires? Has that been addressed on either end?
Throughout the years, the calls for service have actually went down a little bit on the 4th of July weekend. I can get the numbers and pull them for you and let you know. As far as fires, that'd be a fire department question. I mean, we could probably look some up, but we can get the reports from them.
Anything else, Alderman McKay? Okay, thank you. Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, I echo what Alderman Collins said. I agree. We should take a good look at Alderman Rucker's concerns and find something that we can all live with. I will say that I haven't noticed like Camden County burning down on 4th of July, so I don't think that there's I don't know of any major fires that were caused by fireworks, but surely and Alderman Rucker, really the only reason this kind of got pushed a little faster is just because I didn't know there was already an ordinance that had been written and been voted down before, but I agree we should take a good look at it and do our due diligence on it. That's all.
Go ahead, Alderman Rucker.
Just one more comment. Don't want to belabor it and beat it all up, but I've heard the fact of moving forward and being able to shoot fireworks before and the day after 4th of July. I will just tell you that the one revision that we have here says that fireworks will be allowed on any federal holiday. I believe there's 10 of them. So we're not talking about just the 4th. The ordinance allows for more than just the 4th. So it's not just the 4th. So there's a lot of material here. So that's
Okay. Any other comments or questions at this point? I think the question is, what's the next steps? And so let's try to make sure that we have a timeline and understanding. Ideally, I think Alderman Hoffman would like to have seen this considered and passed by our next meeting on June 17th. Would that be best case scenario, Alderman Hoffman, in your mind?
Yeah, yes, I would like to see this done before the 4th of July so everybody can shoot off their fireworks if they want to. I really just.
Right, and the only.
But I don't want, like obviously I'm the one leading the charge on first readings and then second readings. So,
right.
And I want to address, obviously Alderman Rucker has significant knowledge being from the fire department. So I want to take everything into account and make sure we do it right.
Right. So from a administrative standpoint, Devin, when would we need to have something completed for us to have a reasonable notice of putting it on the next agenda?
Well, in order to get it on the packet, we need it by Tuesday. Monday. Oh, because we're backing it up. And also, don't forget, there's going to have to be building code changes that are incorporated into this, not building code, fire code changes that will have to be incorporated. So, I mean, you're giving us basically 24 hours to do that.
Just for clarity, would those building code changes have to be done simultaneously, or could they be done later? 2 weeks later, for example? No worries. Thank you, Ron. Take your time.
How about now?
That works.
Hi. Hello, everybody. As Alderman Rucker had mentioned earlier, we've never allowed fireworks in the city, so I am not up to speed on the ordinances or on the codes, that specific section. Just skimming through them briefly this week, I noticed sections that said prohibited, not authorized, so it'd be a violation of code as it stands. Now, could we, if you guys, I'm sure there's a way that it could be written to where there is a, lack of a better word, a moratorium on that code until all the specifics are taken care of. But my first knee-jerk reaction to this was, whoa, danger, fire, this, that. I did speak with Ed Nicholson, the Osage Beach Fire Protection District Fire Marshal today, and he said that the ordinance, he was good with all of it, and that it left everything open just the way they have theirs written for the rest of Camden County. And my only comment to him was, you guys are the ones that fight the fires. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. I don't have any experience beyond the outside of a foundation when it comes to that type of activity. So that's a really long answer to say, yes, I believe there are avenues that we could speed up my process to accommodate the wishes of the board.
So just for clarity, sorry.
No, I'm very unclear.
Do we need to, and I'm not saying that we could, but I'm trying to understand what our options are and everyone to understand those options. If we were to be able to obtain alignment on what we should consider on June 17th, would we need to also have alignment with the building codes, or could that be done one meeting later? That's what I'm asking.
That would be a question for our city attorney. I think that if you guys got everything aligned, I am scheduled out of the office tomorrow, of course, but I say of course in jest, with this being a hurried action. But I think if we got the agenda together and I sweet talk Tara, if I was able to get something written over the weekend, maybe I could sneak it into her or get it reviewed and on the packet, maybe an hour or two late.
So let me get back to my question, because I'm still not getting an answer, unfortunately. And that's okay. That means
Yeah, I
I'm
would
not blaming
say
anyone.
legal
but,
is going to have to advise on
get
that.
to put you on the forefront, Mr. Miller. Do you know of any reason why those would have to be done simultaneously versus 2 weeks later?
It would be best if you did it simultaneously.
Okay.
Not, one isn't contingent upon the other, but it makes sense that you should do it at the same time.
Okay. So the only option I will say that I see that and I'm not sure that this is even a viable option for try to make some decision on June 17th. By the way, that is a Wednesday because we're doing a Wednesday meeting prior to Juneteenth on Friday, is that we could get together the most interested parties, I'll say it that way, and discuss this and hammer it out on Monday. And I'm going to take a shot right now. Some of the most interested parties are Alderman Rucker and Alderman Hoffman. So would you all have any availability on Monday to work on this?
No, I have grandkids next week. They take priority. Sorry.
No availability throughout the whole day on Monday?
No, I have grandkids next week. Sorry.
Just making sure I'm understanding. Would you mind submitting your concerns in writing, Kevin, and see if we could address them?
Well, the problem is that would be fine to try to do it if we had a square one that we were working off of. And right now, we don't have a square one we're working off of because we have what's in the packet as bill number 26 something. We have changes, which are what I have here, which I made my changes to. We have bill 1800, which has got the changes from, this is a 2018 version, which has got the changes.
I think that for
We have another document here that has information in it that has different, so we have a hodgepodge of different things that has to be brought together, and we're not at that point.
I'm not sure that they're all going to get brought together, to be quite honest, but that's what some of the discussions for the ordinance may be for. What I would suggest is this at this point, unless somebody has another suggestion, is that we will stop the conversation. Alderman Hoffman, unless you have some other thoughts, we will maybe discuss this tomorrow and see if there's any avenue to get this on the June 17th agenda, and if there isn't, there isn't.
Yeah, I'll just say that we could put this on the agenda with what we come up with, and we could make floor amendments, we could adjust as we go. After that, it could get solved a little bit on the fly, because I'm comfortable with the first draft, but obviously I don't want to, I want to take everything into consideration Alderman Rucker has. So I'm happy to work with you on Monday, and if we feel like you and I have something comfortable we want to put on the agenda, we'll put it on there, and then we can hack it out later.
Okay. The one thing I would say is I'm going to consider the most current draft that we have, the one that Mr. Miller, our city attorney, recently sent.
Yes, that was what I was referring to.
Okay, versus the 2018 version that we started with a couple of weeks ago.
No, I was referring to the one that
Mr. Miller sent out ordinance from 2018 with his most recent changes. That's what he sent.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The draft, the one that says draft is the one that Todd did.
The one that's in the packet?
Yes, that's the one Todd did. That's the one that I received from, the first one we received from Richard to give you. The one that's in the packet, the one that has draft on it came from Todd.
This was just received today in the email.
Okay, I didn't see that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Devin, this was just received today from Mr. Miller, an email today. That's where I'm confused. Which one are we working off of? Tara is saying that this is the
I didn't even
one.
see that one from Todd today.
Hang on.
In Tara's defense, I didn't include her on that email, so you're right. The email that I delivered today would not have been seen by her, so you're correct. You're trying to do this outside of subcommittee, and it's like herding cats sometimes, but I appreciate the aggressive timeline, and you'll get it done.
So my recommendation is we consider, and our starting point would be what was sent today, okay? And that we will consider as we work through this, any comments that we think you may have, and Todd's comments, Chief Davis's comments, as we try to draft a proposal that we may or may not be able to review on May 17th.
I will work very diligently to go over this one now, because I
Okay.
went over this one
Okay.
and have my changes here.
Okay?
I will get it done this weekend before grandkids,
Okay.
and we'll send it based on this one.
All right. And again, I haven't seen that. I think I glanced at it, but I haven't had a chance to read it, to even digest it. So I'm flying a little bit blind too, and I realize we're moving fast. Does anyone else have any comments or thoughts before we move forward with that plan? Devin.
We have a meeting on July 1st, so if we had to do a second reading, that would be prior to.
Yeah, it's one day, so we were trying to, for lack of a better term, if people were going to have the opportunity to do it legally, at least we would have a little bit of time to notify them, which may or may not be the best plan, but we'll work on that over the next day or so. Okay? Appreciate that thought, though. Anyone else have anything before we move on to the next item? Okay, thank you. Appreciate everybody's time. I know that this is a bit of a contentious and is a, how would I say, expedited process, and that is not what we prefer, but we just decided to try to see what we could do before the 4th of July, which is big down here. All right, next item is a presentation and motion to approve a LOZ, Lake Ozarks CVB Convention and Visitors Bureau Area Marketing Partnership option for the Marketing Partnership Program for the period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Heather is here. She's the director of the CVB. Devin's name's on it. Is there anything you want to include at this point, Devin?
Nope, I'll just turn it over to Heather.
Okay.
Go right ahead, Heather. Thank you for attending.
Yes, thanks for having me. And there's some new faces that I haven't personally met. So I'm Heather Brown, the executive director for the CVB. You guys unfortunately get to see me a lot from time to time. I present, and then I also sit on the safety committee that April has done a great job with, and Devin, and you know, as well as Carrie called me today. Hopefully we'll work out something for another item that they need. So I'm here if you all need me. You can always call me. You can ask a lot of questions about this. I can pull this up in real time, give you data in real time, and then after this presentation, you'll hear me talk again about Bike Fest. So everything that I do here is to promote tourism for Lake of the Ozarks. The CVB, after the loss of the lodging tax, we had to get really creative and say, okay, you know, our organization, we were able to sustain our funds with the products that we sell internally to support our organization, but we didn't have marketing dollars, which was what the lodging tax provided for our community. So when that went away, we said, okay, how are we going to promote the community? And one of the ways that we did that was we created the area marketing program, which is AMP. And it's basically a cooperative marketing program, very similar to what the state of Missouri does for all of us CVBs around the state of Missouri. So we kind of mimicked that concept, and we created our own version. We get funds from the state of Missouri, but in order to get those funds, you have to match those dollars. So it's a dollar for dollar match. And so we had to say, how are we going to have those dollars? Because we don't have the lodging tax. So that's where area marketing came in. And that's where City of Osage Beach came in. And you guys did a wonderful job last year and approved $25,000. And so this report's going to give you information on where you guys are at with that program to date. And then I'll have a full report after June 30th that I can share with you guys as well. You guys in the past had also done some advertising with Tri-County Lodging Association. And so you guys are pretty familiar if you've been on this board or attended any previous meetings with this program, but we kind of made it a little more of a solidified program through the area marketing program. I'm going to back up a little bit. So just to remind some of you who are new to the board, this is for quarter 1 through 3. The way that we operate is July 1st through June 30th. We mimic the state of Missouri's fiscal year. So our year is about to wrap up here at the end of June. So this is for 3 quarters of the year, okay? So you guys started last July. Our whole goal was to increase awareness and visibility of the city of Osage Beach and your tourism. We want to draw people to this community and let them know what you guys have to offer. And how we do that is through this program, and I'll go through the strategies, but you guys have a landing page that all this traffic goes to, and it talks about, it has a video. I met with Eric when he was here. Before that, it was Jamie, and as well as Holly, and we talked about strategies, and do we want time on site? Do we want awareness? Do we want, what are the call to actions that we want? So we added video, we added events, and so this landing page is really robust for you guys, really talks about City of Osage Beach, and then it also links out to your guys' page as well. And how we do that, how we drive traffic to that page is through a Google display ad campaign, but then we have a retargeting campaign that kicks back after that. So once we serve somebody up an ad, they show interest in that ad, we're gonna retarget them about 7 to 10 times to try to get them to click again, because we know if they click again, they're a little more interested, more likely to come back. So that's the campaign we have running for you all for a $25,000 spend. And I do apologize, I hope this is in your packets. If not, I can email it, Devin can email it, because these numbers get a little small when they're on the screen. So from July through the end of April is really when this report is, but Q3 ends March 30th, but I threw it up through the end of April. You guys had over 100,000 clicks to that landing page of people that actively clicked to read more information about City of Osage Beach. You had over 6 million impressions, meaning over 6 million people saw your ads. Even if they didn't click, they saw City of Osage Beach, they saw your creative, it was promoting you all. You guys had a really high over industry average click-through rate of a 1.82% with an average cost of about 18 cents, which is really good in our world. And then the one thing that I want to really notice is that engagement rate of over 27% and that time on site over a minute. Like if you know websites or think about or look at marketing, being on something for over a minute means they're engaged. They're really taking in that information. And so that's what we wanted to see with this campaign. On this slide, you can kind of see the prospecting, meaning they just saw the ad. Retargeting means that they saw the ad again. So you'll notice that your retargeting is always going to be just a little higher on the clicks or on the engagement part of that. Here's some current ad campaign or ad creatives that we have. These are all shot in Osage Beach. And it just kind of, I do want to mention, it kind of just shows a little bit of everything from dining to attractions to like the state park to swimming to boating, fishing, and we can always change up these creatives as well. I like to put this page in there because at the time I ran the report, you can see where you guys fall on the top pages viewed. And some of that's ad spend, means some of our partners don't have the same budget, but it also just shows that you guys are ranking really high up there. And I do want to mention, I don't have my glasses on, this is terrible. I have the report in here, but like the golf trail, that's number 2. But keep in mind, thanks, I could borrow yours. But keep in mind the golf trail's budget's almost $300,000. So you guys have 25 and you're ranked right underneath them essentially. So that shows you how well you're doing. And then I always like to include top DMAs because I feel like this is just really beneficial information for everybody because I'm always interested where people are coming from. How do they think? And so this shows you the top markets that are coming to Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah.
What does DMA stand for?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yep, they're basically designated marketing areas. So like St. Louis, it's a St. Louis DMA, which could cover like O'Fallon, St. Peter. It's like a complete market, not just downtown St. Louis, if that makes sense. They kind of, in the marketing world, they'll take the suburbs around it. And so that's the same in Chicago, that's the same in Kansas City. So it kind of just covers a wider range in that market. So one thing you'll notice, and this doesn't surprise me, is like you'll see like Minneapolis, for example. That doesn't always hover in our top like 5 or 10. But again, the Golf Council's promoting a lot. Well, where do they promote in the spring? Up north. Northern states travel first because it's still cold, it's still snowing. They can come down here, do a guy's getaway or do a golf trip. And so it doesn't surprise me. So these do change throughout the year. So like July, these might be vastly different. Not vastly, like you always have St. Louis, Kansas City, Chicago, but some of those other random states will pop in there. So another one that is a market that we've been seeing since COVID is Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas is a market that we've started noticing trickle up, but then the state of Missouri's been spending a lot of money there. So what we like to do is see where the state's spending money, and then we kind of piggyback off of that because they're spending millions, and then you see Missouri, and then you see Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. And so we'll even strategically place booths next to them at travel shows in other states so people become aware of who we are. So we want to try to piggyback off of existing dollars. A new market that they're emerging in currently is Denver. We're seeing a lot of Denver people. And so a part of that is because they started seeing that as an emerging market, so they started spending more there, so now we're seeing more. So we want to also be in Denver if the state's in Denver, if that makes sense. So you can kind of see how these trends work, but again, these will shift, and you might see some shifting after the final report after June 30th. And so in addition to all of that, at the CVB, we wanted to really just thank our AMP partners, not just say, oh, you're spending money, we're giving you ads. So what we did is at our annual dinner, we recognized everybody that was a partner. We not only had them in our programs, we had them in our slideshows. I recognized them verbally multiple times, but then we also put you guys on every one of our internal CVB newsletters that go out to our entire membership base, which is over 550 members. And then we have a newsletter that goes to visitors who want information about the lake, and that list it varies anywhere between 20 and 30,000 people. And we have you guys listed as partners on that. And when they click it, it goes straight back to that page that talks about you. We also have an AMP page on funlink.com, as well as your landing page for your ad campaign. We also have you guys in blogs that we write for content stories and social media posts. So you guys get a lot of added benefit in addition to just, here's 25,000, spend it, do marketing, and go from there. And I want to mention that for your $25,000 spend, it gets doubled. So it's really a $50,000 spend. So everybody that's a partner, I have some partners that only have $5,000, so then they have $10,000 to spend. So we really are strategic with those dollars. We want to maximize those dollars. I don't do an even spend across to every month because, again, we may not want to spend the same amount in November as we do in March because March people are thinking about traveling, they're thinking about Memorial Weekend, they're thinking about summer, oh, I want to get away. So they're doing more planning. So we want to spend more money in that spring leading into summer, and then we want to kind of beef it up in the fall and then tail off in the winter just a little bit. But keep in mind, I do keep spend pretty decent in January and February because we're traveling, we're hitting boat, sport, and travel shows. People are attending those. So even though it's winter, they're like, oh, I want to get away, it's winter. So where are we going to go? And they start searching. They may not plan yet, but they're going to start looking. So we want to make sure we show up in those searches. And so, so this is where you guys are at. You guys are doing an incredible job. I met with Devin and the mayor earlier, last week, I believe it was, maybe the week before. And we basically went over all this and we talked strategy, and I will tell you, I don't have any changes going into this future year should you guys choose to do it again. I think the numbers are really, really good. I would make changes. I deal with a third-party vendor that places these ads, and we meet about every 3 weeks, and we go over numbers, we make sure things are working, we decide if we want to change creative, we decide, lots of different things, and this ad campaign's been running so well that we haven't had to make any changes. So I just want to entertain any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Heather. Does the board have any questions or thoughts for Heather? Alderman Hoffman.
I just have a comment, no real question.
That's okay.
Dinner was fantastic at the CVB. No, I strongly support what they're doing. If you can find someone at the lake who is working harder to market the lake than Heather, I want to meet that person. So you've been doing a great job out there. I know I've noticed it. I think other people are too. So I know we're getting ROI out of this, and I thank you and commend you and strongly support this.
Thank you. And I do want to state, we do have different individual partners, like business partners, but we do partner with the Lake of the Ozarks Golf Council, which they cover all of the golf courses in our Tri-County area, because if you're not familiar, the Lake of the Ozarks CVB, we cover Miller, Morgan, and Camden counties, and we have since 1932. So we don't cover one town, we don't cover one county. And so having a partnership like the Golf Council that has that same vision is also a really nice complement to what we do. And then we also just recently observed absorbed the Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Association. We now manage that organization. They still have their own board, but we are managing it. We ran their ad campaign last year, but now we're doing all of the operations. So again, taking these entities that are natural partners of ours and really just creating more of a cohesive game plan, strategic plan as we all move forward into this newness for all of us is going to be fantastic. So we're excited to do it at the CVB.
Thank you, Heather. Any other questions or comments for Heather? I just want to say thank you for your time. A week or so ago when we talked about this, the information is impressive. You're impressive.
Thank you.
What you all do is impressive, and I can't thank you enough for what you do, and I do support this also. I think we have very limited means to market, and especially to take our marketing dollars and double them before we even spend them is an opportunity that we should strongly consider.
Yeah, and we'll continue to partner. I know when Eric and Jamie were here, I worked with them very closely, so I'm really excited to see who comes into that role moving forward. Because again, with the loss of the lodging tax, we lost some opportunities for sponsorships, and I know I've brought a few to the table for the city that have just been real game changers for our community as far as like large fishing tournaments that get national TV exposure and things like that. And then you'll hear me speak in a minute about an event that also has national exposure. So, you know, those are Band-Aids for the lack of funding we have in our community. Trust me, none of us want to work like year-round, crazy weekends and nights on events when you don't get paid. It's volunteer boards. However, we need that for our community because we don't have the funding in place to do that. So, so you guys have done a good job seeing that vision, and so I applaud all of you guys for having that forward thinking. So,
Great, thank you.
Thank
Heather.
you.
Anything else anybody else has? I'm just looking for a motion.
Motion to approve?
Alderman Hoppin, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman McKay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so point of order, with respect to Heather's time, I was wondering if we could move item H up to the next item on the agenda with the board's consent. Any concerns with that? Okay, then we're going to move on to item H, which is Bill 2670, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the expenditure of funds for promotional efforts to support the Lake of the Ozarks Bike Fest 2026 event for an amount not to exceed $3,000. This is a first reading. Heather, go right ahead.
Okay, so as I mentioned, events are Band-Aids for lack of funding. So this is one of them that was created 20 years ago. This event was created on a weekend. It's typically the second weekend after Labor Day because that's typically a slower weekend in the community. So they wanted to extend our season, extend tourism. So we had a group of leaders that said, let's do a bike rally. And so here we are. And so when I came back to the CVB almost 6 years ago, I somehow drew the short stick and they said, you're president. So I think it's that newbie coming back. So I'm president of a bike rally and I don't even ride bikes, but I do know marketing and I do understand event coordination. And so that's why I'm here. And so one of the things about this event is it's huge. It is so big and it's just continuing to grow. And a couple years ago, we partnered with Buffalo Chip up in Sturgis. And so Buffalo Chip's been making their print down here, which we're really grateful for. They're actually moving from Papa Chubby's. I'm looking at the chief over there just so he knows. From Papa Chubby's over to Shady Gators. So they'll now have a vendor village and a lot of their Sturgis vendors are going to be at Shady Gators and their charity ride will go out of there and end back there and all that. So, but these charity rides are huge. Harley Davidson's a huge partner, Jack Fleming over there. They bring in a lot of vendors. They will not have a certain vendor there this year, just so you know, Chief. And so the idea is that we continue to grow this event in a very safe, more controlled manner. We are a marketing organization that's 100% sponsorships. We have no other funding other than just knocking on doors and saying, do you want to nickel and dime our way up? And so we also do the Passport program, which that Passport program has 23 stops in it, and bikers can pay $25, get a passport. They have to attend all 23 locations, get a stamp, turn it in by noon on Sunday for a chance to win a bike. And we have about 1,500 people that participate in that program. We upped it this last year, so it was really a good turnout. And we do make some funds. You could see in the budget that we do, that's a fundraising revenue for us. However, We do pay out of that to the Christian Motorcycle Association. They are our donation off of that, so we do support that organization, and they also help us manage that event, and they volunteer their time, and in return, we donate to them, and then that's how we became a 501c6, is because of that partnership. So I'm asking for $3,000 to help continue this event. I know in the past we've discussed, hey, this event's been going on 20 years. Why do you still need money? Well, because every year we got to ask for money. And every year it costs money. And every year the costs go up. And even though this is an established event, this is an event that brings in a lot of people. Lots and lots of people. Don't ask me a number because I don't know. But it is a lot, and it fills hotels, it fills VRBOs, it fills our community. I have tourism partners all over the state, and they say, oh, it must be bike week. We're filling up. People are stopping at our gas stations and eating at our restaurants because as they go through the state, they stop. And so this is truly a huge event. Last year, we got awarded, 2 years ago, we got awarded a Missouri Division of Tourism's award for this event for being such a tourism-driven event for the whole state of Missouri. So we're excited about that. So, it's just to bring revenue. In a week, we wouldn't have had revenue. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think we all know what all those motorcycle noises mean on that weekend.
Yeah.
So just for clarity, and then we'll open it to the board. What are the dates?
So the date, we upped it this year to Tuesday. So Tuesday, September 15th through the 20th. And so, and I can tell you I have all the other dates. So this year it's Tuesday, September 15th through Sunday, September 20th. In 2027, we're going to keep it. We're going to start adding Tuesday. We want it to keep growing to where it's an even a bigger event. So it'll be the 14th through the 19th into 27.
Great, thank you. Questions from the board or comments? Alderman Hoffman, we'll start there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind the 3,000 because, we're doing our part and it's a huge deal. I'm just kind of curious, are we trying to still grow this bigger? Is there not a cap on this thing?
Well, is there a cap on Sturgis? I mean, Sturgis is statewide. It's one of their largest revenue generators for the entire state, which covers many, many towns, many communities. You can stay about 2 hours from the main hub of Sturgis, and it's still like you're in mini Sturgis everywhere you go. And I know that because I accidentally booked a vacation to South Dakota during Sturgis before I knew that was the week. And so anyway, my poor children got exposed to all that, which was, life lessons. And so, I think that you can continue to grow. If we grow beyond this community, that's why Buffalo Chip's getting involved. That's why some of these external, we have NASCAR drivers that are doing charity rides, that are coming and doing booths, that's doing appearances. The event continues to grow, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. I don't think we've maximized our potential here.
See, that does concern me a little bit, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure I want to be Sturgis.
Yeah.
How much is too much is a fair question about Bike Fest, I think. If it is going to Tuesday now, and then next year it goes to Monday, and then all of a sudden it's 2 weeks, and then we have Bike Month. I
hope we don't have Bike Month. I would be very tired.
But again,
I will tell you, I agree with you there, but here's the thing. Part of this stretching it out is so you're not so congested on just specific days. You're always going to be heavier on that Friday, Saturday, right? Because not everyone can take the full week off. So hopefully by stretching it out, we already see a lot of people that come the weekend before, and they may only come that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then they're out before it gets even crazier. So it kind of just offers people opportunity to do that passport ride on when they come on the front end. So it's just kind of extending that for those businesses.
So I would just personally like to see it grow in the time that's allotted for it now, and it not grow because we're expanding the duration of it. To me, it becomes a problem if it turns into a 2-week event.
Yeah.
And that's not just for the police or the fire or the paramedics out there, but simply the people who want to use our streets to go fishing or to go to the park.
Just keep in mind too, these are already allocated weeks that historically were dead weeks for tourism. So it's really drumming up revenue during a dead week. So you can say that, but if the reason it got that week was because those were weeks nobody was here. Same with Shootout, right? Like they picked a week that they're like, hey, before a holiday was always so dead. We all know that. Before a holiday and the weekend after, right? Like dead because everyone comes on the holiday, they blow their money, they're not coming the next weekend too. So it's like when we create an event on those shoulder time frames, you're just boosting your revenue opportunity versus saying, hey, we're hurting the people that want to come here because they're historically not coming during that time frame.
Well, I don't want you to think I'm against Bike Week or
That's
Bike
okay.
Fest, because
No,
I'm
it's
not.
okay.
But
It's okay. Good questions.
When it starts to talk about a longer duration, and I hear
Yeah.
the word growth from you several times
Yeah.
in there, it makes me wonder, well, where's the cap on this? Because I think it
don't
can
know.
become too big,
You
frankly.
can't. I mean,
So-
and there are growth concerns, right? Like safety concerns, and how do you manage that? And again, we're just marketing. So vendor villages handle their own vendor villages. These communities and these bars and restaurants that have capacities, obviously they have to manage that as well. And so I will say from the businesses that are in it, they are not against adding a day.
Adding a day is one thing, adding a second weekend's another.
Yes,
is my
I agree. We are I just want you to know that in 10 years, this is the first time we've added a day.
Okay.
So
I
it
like
may
that
be
time
another
frame then.
10 years before we add a Monday. So we'll let you know.
All right, sounds good. Thank
Yep.
you, Heather.
I'll let you know personally, Justin, if we add a Monday, which we won't.
Alderman Ruckers, I think I saw your hand up.
Yes, I
Go
have a
right
couple
ahead.
of questions. First of all, is this a 501c or not? Because the application kind of had it yes, and then it looked like it was no, and
I don't know why it looked like that. We are a 501c6, and we did get that a couple years ago. Yes, we did. And that's because of that donation and charitable contribution to CMA.
it looks like the X is on the
Yep.
no,
Yep, I
but it
don't,
should be a yes, because I know you were last year.
yes. I'm not sure, that's probably just my typo.
Okay, that's
Because
fine.
underneath
just
it, I
wanted to
put local
clarify that.
501c6. Yeah,
wanted to
sorry
clarify
about that.
Second of all, I don't have any problem with this being on the shoulder season, and if you add another day or two, but, if you get into to another weekend, I won't live that long to see you do that.
Well, we aren't pushing for it. We just want to take baby steps right now. So, like I said, I would have to go back and look in previous minutes and see when the last time. I remember when it used to be just Friday, Saturday, then they added Thursday. It took several, we're talking 5-year gaps, 10-year gaps before we added, an additional day.
The event is around the whole lake area.
That's correct.
Because especially where they do where you.
Passport program?
Passport, I
Yep.
couldn't think
No,
of the
that's
name.
okay.
That's all around the lake area.
That is
So it's the
correct.
whole lake area that we're talking about. I realize a lot of it there's a lot centered here in Osage Beach, but it is the whole lake area that.
Yes.
And all the other communities around.
Yes.
I heard you say something about we won't have the chief's motorcycle group down here?
Vendor, I heard.
No, I just referenced the chief and referenced
Oh.
a group
Because isn't there?
a group that.
Oh,
that
okay.
he needs to worry about.
Isn't there some competition, I won't call it competition, but another situation that goes on that same weekend with the other motorcycle that?
Are you talking about bikes, booze, and barbecues, or
They
Arkansas?
have a big tent deal down at the Strip, and I confusing that
So
with
that is being rectified as well.
so they will be,
We can't, it's a public event, but we are working with people on vendors, we'll just say that.
well, the concern I have is the fact that I guess, to be very honest, one of the reasons I asked some of those questions around there is I challenged the rest of the lake area to participate financially in helping this event. We've been doing it for a number of years, and the whole lake area benefits from it. These people stay in all kinds of motels throughout the whole lake area.
Yes.
And I think it's something that they should participate in. The other cities should be, and I know down there in that situation, there's a big donation that is made to Lake Ozark, and they don't make any contributions. So I challenge them to step up to the plate and help make this thing grow like we have been.
Yeah.
So
I will say we do work with each city, and And then, right before the event, I send a big email out to city administrator, mayor, chiefs, and let them know like anything new, anything that's happening. They're always welcome to join any meetings, just so they're aware of all the little details or anything that we might know. I will say that as of this year, we are working with Reese Development down there, and really working with them closely to try to gain. Our committee doesn't want to be involved with vendors and logistics. It's just marketing and promotion. However, we need to get a little more control down there just for certain reasons. And so we've worked with Reese, and they're making a huge, we'll just say contribution to assist. When I say huge, like a trade, basically. So we can have more use of their property down there and kind of work and synergize. And so hopefully there'll be more growth with that as the years come.
Good event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Alderman Collins.
So I think this is an awesome event, and I'm going to disagree with Alderman Hoffman that it's huge for our hotels, our bars, restaurants, everybody, and I think they would all like to have some extra people on that Tuesday also. So I'm pretty happy that you're moving it to Tuesday. I did have one question. You mentioned that the vendor village is moving to Gators. Is that what you said?
Buffalo Chip is moved, so they've never done, okay, let me retract. Buffalo Chip was doing a charity ride / bike show at Papa Chubby's for the last couple years, and they're moving that to Shady Gators. And then they have worked with a lot of their vendors, and Shady Gators is doing a vendor village and adding a lot of the Buffalo Chip. So Buffalo Chip isn't doing a vendor village, but a lot of their vendors from Sturgis is coming to Shady Gators. So there's a partnership there, I should say.
Okay, so it shouldn't have any impact on our sales tax revenue from, okay.
It gives people more to do. You want to have, and I will say last year it was so incredibly hot. I'm out and about the whole time. I have a photographer, a videographer. We're shooting and we're watching things, and I can't tell you how many people would just say, "What's there to do?" I think we're going to rent a boat. We're going to go on the lake today because it's just so hot. We're going to get back out tonight. And so these people are spending money. They're renting, lodging facilities, whether it's a Airbnb or whether it's a hotel or whatever it might be, and then they're spending money. They're buying things while they're down here, and so that's what we want. We want them to take advantage of every attraction, every restaurant. As a matter of fact, we just had a meeting yesterday. We talked about Ozark Rides Rally, which is supposed to be the spring kickoff. It was started at Harley. The Bike Fest committee took it over. We're going to restructure that to even create that to where maybe we can generate something even in the spring. Not as big as Bike Fest, but hopefully it could grow and become kind of like a kickoff bike event, which Arkansas does. They do a spring fling, and then they do the Bike Blues and Barbecue. And so a lot of other destinations do that. And so we think, hey, again, what weekend's slow? Weekend after Memorial Weekend, so maybe we target that. Right now it's Mother's Day weekend, which we all agree is terrible. And so we think if we push it to the weekend after Memorial Weekend, maybe then we can generate some, again, more tax revenue during a normally dead week.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Alderman McKay.
So I just want to say that I absolutely love Bike Fest. I don't ride. I have a lot of friends that do. Had a friend that won the Harley at down the street 4 or 5 years ago.
Good.
A lot of people come to town. I enjoy seeing everybody and strike up conversations. All the restaurants are full. All the hotels are full. I think this event, compared to the shootout, the city makes a lot more money through dining and lodging and all that than any other event known. So I think it's a great event. I think you promote it well.
Thank you.
Alderman Hoffman.
I didn't have any problem with Tuesday, Alderman Collins. I think Tuesday is fine. Just to clarify, the Buffalo Chip thing at Shady Gators is a big enough event that they are not having a concert down there on that weekend, which normally they do. So I know they're expecting it to be very, very busy.
Yeah.
I thought Arkansas had the rally before or after ours, and it's gone away.
It's after.
It's after. I thought it went away.
It's not gone. It's just that it's had some issues. It's not gone.
No, it's not gone, though? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Still, best of luck.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I just have a couple of quick ones.
Yeah.
one, I don't want to be a Sturgis either, but I think the committee does a wonderful job of making sure that we have a bike fest that has a brand that fits our lake.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you guys do, and I think that sensitivity that you guys already have. The second thing I got to put a plug in. On Wednesday, 9/16, we will have the Wing Fest, okay, which I think is one of the coolest local events that we have. Just for clarity, the Regalia has not reopened yet. I don't know of any confirmed plans to do so, so we probably will be moving that this year. And at this point, because we haven't got this all figured out, we will let people know as quickly as possible. We hope to have that done by the end of next week. Okay, but it's still 9/16. I can tell you that every year I think it's an event that helps the Bike Fest.
Yeah.
And I think that every year we get a few more bikers. And some of them I have seen, as I was there, spend a lot of money towards our local charities. So this is a really complimentary event for many reasons, not only for sales tax, but also for charitable contributions to our local charities. So it's a pretty magic deal. And sorry, I just had to put the plug in for the Wing
No,
Fest.
and I mean, we love promoting. If anyone has events going on during that time, let me know, send it to me. We'll throw it up on the event calendar because we want to promote. I mean, I don't just put our sponsors on there. I put any event that these bikers would want to attend. So, and we partner with, to go back to your point, Kevin, is we do promote all around. We added another stop in Versailles, so because that city is like, hey, we want to be what those other cities are. And so we partnered with a Christian association out there. We love partnering with these churches, and it's not always just bars. It's a little bit of everything. And so they can have free breakfast and they can have other giveaways. And then those organizations typically come Sunday to the bike giveaway, and they give away guns, or they give away, whatever their raffles are for that week. And so it's truly a lake-wide community event. So we're grateful for that.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other comments or questions? I'm just looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Alderman Hoppin, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker, we'll let you go this time. You two tie a lot. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your time, Heather. You do a great job.
Thanks, Heather.
Okay, so just for clarity, we're going to move back to item F on the agenda. That is Bill 2668, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 110, Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City Code as set forward. It's a first and second reading. This is City Clerk Tara Barrett. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. I was asked to put this on the agenda so that we don't have to keep coming back every year if a holiday or a board meeting falls on a holiday or a scheduled holiday off. This is just it would be the preceding Wednesday before the holiday. If there's any changes, but I do recommend approval for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Are there any questions or concerns from the board? Alderman Rucker.
I'm in favor of moving forward with something like this, but I'm not in favor of this ordinance. I don't believe this ordinance does everything that needs to be done to rectify this problem. The ordinance, the way it's written, does not address when the meeting is on the holiday. It only addresses when the meeting is the day before a holiday. So if you read the ordinance, it says, when any such meeting day is a holiday, the regular meeting shall be held at such time as may be provided by the board. So the board has to provide that date or that movement, as far as I'm concerned, the way this ordinance reads, and that's the changes, that piece of that ordinance isn't changing. I also feel that it doesn't identify who's to take care of the responsibility of doing this. It doesn't say when it's supposed to be done, how far in advance. So I think if we're going to fix it, let's really fix it the right way. And Ron, could you help me, please? Could you hand this to everybody? What I have coming out to you is what my suggestion is the ordinance that that we need to pass. Oh, I just gave Ron my copy too. And what I've included in this is all the meetings, and basically I'll tell you in short what it says. What it says in short is that in September of each year, the city clerk shall prepare a calendar for the next year with all the dates of the Board of Aldermen meeting, the Board of Adjustments meetings, and the planning and zoning meeting, bring that back to the board for the board's approval in September. We have it, and the reason I've had it in September is so it's for the next year, so it starts in January. We need to have those dates ahead of time. Kerry Patterson needs them, especially for things that when people come into him and he talks about planning and zoning or board of adjustments, he's got to be able to look forward on when those next meetings are coming about. So it's a tool that he will have if we move a Board of Aldermen meeting to one way or the other, especially we move it to the Wednesday, that could affect his Board of Adjustments meeting. It shouldn't affect his planning and zoning, other than the fact that he needs to know when the planning and zoning are going to be and when the Board of Aldermen meeting are going to be, so he can tell the people when their proceeding event will occur. So I think it's important that we have that spelled out. We have it spelled out ahead of time. We don't wait until the last minute or a couple weeks before or a month or two before, because this ordinance doesn't spell that out on that. That's the way we would do it. So I would present to you that what's marked out is what this ordinance would not have in it, and what is in red is what I've added, and there it is in its entirety, and I would suggest that we consider that as a way to solve the whole, the other problems that could be out there. Thank you.
Appreciate that. We may come back to a motion, but before we do that, is there any other comments or questions? Alderman Hoffman.
Well, it kind of addressed my question, which was going to be, does this, as it reads, does this solve for every date out there? And it probably doesn't. This probably does, I'm guessing, because I know how thorough you are. My question would be, is it better to do a floor amendment on this or to table this and take 2 weeks to address it?
Tara, do you have any thoughts on that?
I'd rather table give me time to clean it up,
I
because
would
you know
agree
how I
with
feel
that.
about floor amendments.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yeah,
Just wanted
not
to
a
make sure.
fan.
That's why I presented it in writing, so
Yeah.
but I'm not, it's nothing we have to do tonight.
Fair enough. Well, and to be quite honest, and apologize for not knowing, but we did this as a first and second reading. Were we trying to solve for something specific when we decided to do that?
I think it was just something that we thought that was the direction that I was
Okay.
given.
I was just making sure there wasn't any, some coming meeting that we hadn't solved.
Well, we've
for.
already solved for the
That's what I thought.
June
Just making
meeting
sure I
and
hadn't
the
missed
July
something.
meeting, so.
Okay, cool. So I think that what I'm hearing is that we would like to consider, we would want to either not make a motion, or I think that's the best thing to do. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve this?
Well, I think it's better to table it rather than to do it that way because then it just stays, no?
No, I want you, if we're going to do it, I want you to deny it. Make
Oh,
a first.
okay. That's easier for
Make
me.
a first, don't second it, have it fail, and I'll bring you back with a new number.
Sounds
That
good.
way it would die.
Would appreciate that. Okay. So is there any other discussion before we start down that path? Okay. Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Collins, do I hear a second? Hearing none, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Bill 2669, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, establishing a one-time corrective staggering of terms for certain city-appointed members of the Tax Increment Financing Commission to restore rotating terms, providing legislative findings, establishing a transition schedule, and providing for future successor terms. This is a first reading. Alderman Rucker.
I don't know why my name got on. Well, I do know why, because I was the last one to call Tar and say, okay, we've got what Mr. Miller sent us, but what about if we do this and this and tweak it a little bit more? And so I guess I was the last one to put the finger on it, because I know it started off with the mayor.
And if I can add on, if you don't mind.
Sure, why don't you, because I really
Sure.
started
So
with you.
when I started looking at the boards and commissions as a new mayor, I noticed that there were I believe there's 4 terms expiring on the TIF Commission in June of 2026. And I look back at what the original intent of the TIF Commission, I think Alderman Rucker even brought this to my attention. That wasn't the way it was designed to be, and I don't really like to see that kind of potential turnover in any one commission in any one year. And so then we went about how do we fix that? And it became the best way to fix it was to present another ordinance, because if we would have appointed 4 people, we wouldn't have been following the ordinance that was on record. Okay, so that's the background for it. So with that said, does anyone have any questions or concerns around what we're proposing here? All right.
This fixes the problem.
All right. Hearing none, I'm just looking for a motion then.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Collins, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is a motion to approve the renewal with Midwest Public Risk for non-medical coverage. Madeline Moon, Human Resources Director.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. I issued a request for proposals for qualified firms to submit their bid for non-medical insurance. That would include general airport and cybersecurity liability, as well as property and work comp insurance coverage. We did receive one submission back from our current insurer, Midwest Public Risk. The renewal quote for the July 2026 to June 2027 term is $680,319.07. That does not include airport and cyber liability, as that is billed separately, with our cyber being provided by Jay Gallagher with an NPR discounted rate. We've benefited greatly, not just from NPR's property liability and workers' compensation coverage, but from their hands-on and individualized risk management and training services. Jason McMahon is our assigned risk manager through NPR, who regularly visits on-site to deliver training materials and provides additional training support as requested, with his key role being to help the city mitigate risks and control losses. I do feel they're still the best fit for the city and would recommend approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Alderman Collins.
How much did this go up? Like, what was our rate increase this year?
Say that again?
What was the rate increase this year? Do you know?
So our property and liability coverage, we just had a property appraisal done summer of last year. It still did come in under budget. I don't have the exact percentage on the increase across the board, as we'd gone back and forth on some property values with them, but we are still well over 200,000 under what we'd budgeted. Work comp did go up beyond what was budgeted by about 45 grand. That is due to salary increases last year, and more than likely, from what I've seen, a fault on my own of calculating an accurate projection on that. We're still, with those totals combined, we're still under what we budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Hoffman.
So we only had one bid?
Correct.
Do you know if there was even any other inquiries?
So we had first put out to see if we could get an insurance consultant to take this out to bid for us, which I did not have any response to. We had interest from Charlesworth Consulting after the fact, that they had advised that because the time frame was so short that they were very candid in their interaction with us and said they didn't want to take our money for something that had a short enough time frame to not turn around a ton of results.
Okay, find it a little interesting, but it is what it is. Thanks for all your work on it.
Any other questions? So I have a couple based on those comments, if you don't mind, Maddie. So how long did we ask or put this out, for lack of a better term? Was there a 30-day window, or how did that work?
So we had put out, for the insurance consultant, we put that out for the 15-day minimum. The actual RFP for the non-medical insurance to come back, I believe we put that out for 21 days. We'd started this process in, I believe it was late March.
Okay. And when we put it out, I'm just learning here, do we put it out on some, I don't know, bid place where people look? Do we notify anyone? I know we probably do more than just hang it on the wall in the lobby, is what I'm guessing. Can you explain anything about kind of how that process goes?
It gets published in the paper. I didn't really have any previous contacts with other insurance providers at this point, and there's not very many people, going back to the first RFP that we issued, that do the insurance consulting anymore. I had attempted to reach out to Charlesworth when I put that bid out initially, which I've reconnected with them, so we have that new connection because I had old information. But
did they give the consultant, did they give you an indication how much time they would have liked to have had?
As much as they could have had.
Okay, I didn't know if 30
Ideally-
days are enough if they asked for 6 months, because I don't think we need to give them 6 months. I just wonder if they referenced anything what they thought was reasonable.
They had, and I don't have the timeline that they'd initially proposed in front of me, but for them to have done it, they would have liked, I believe it was between a 6 to 8 week window. And I tried to shore that up a bit to fit it into first and second reading timeframes, and that they were very candid and very kind with us and saying, we could take your money and do this for you, but I don't think that's really going to be at the best benefit of the city.
I appreciate a vendor with that approach, to be quite honest. Alderman Rucker, sorry.
Was that the consultant you're talking about that
Correct.
needed the more lead time? Okay, just
Very
wondering.
good. April, did you have some comments?
Tara, when bidders get on the bidder list, right? And then, so when that pushes out, when she pushes out those bid opportunities online, it hits any of those people who are on the bidders list. They get a notification as well.
It's on the news flash. As soon as I news flash out and they go to notify me, they sign up for whichever bids they want to do. It sends it, shoots it out to them, whichever time frame, whichever ones that.
So this is a historical bidders list or a bidders list of insurance people? What does that mean?
It's just whoever signs up on notify me. I do not
Oh,
keep a
okay.
list of
It's a
bidders to
service.
send.
I get
Correct.
it. Okay. I'm just trying to understand it. All right, thanks. Alderman Rucker.
Just to follow up, I get notified on every bid this city puts out.
Because you signed up?
Because I signed up for it. So anybody who, I just do it because I just want to know what's going on, ahead of time. But if anybody's out there at all interested in ever doing any kind of business with the city, I would tell them it's very easy to get on their, the website. I mean, I did it a long time ago, and every time there's a bid,
Very good.
it comes out.
Appreciate you letting everyone know. Okay, any other Alderman Collins?
Okay, so now I'm a little confused. So we talked last fall about sending different parts of the insurance out to brokers to bid. Was this the parts that we were sending to them? And is that still in progress?
I had just sent out a request for proposals. I did not send to individual brokerages.
Okay. Okay, maybe all right, thank you.
This is the property and casualty that was discussed last year, and my only comments is those folks should have been putting their name on the bid list and would have been notified. I don't know why I know there was an interest from people, and I have my opinion on why they didn't respond, but they didn't respond.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item is a discussion on agenda size and strategies to shorten meeting length, and I'm all in on this one. If we can figure that out, and as Alderman Collins, I'll let you start.
So I had asked Tara to add this to an agenda that was relatively short. We've had some real doozies the last few months, and I'm just trying to kind of, figure out when is enough. Like, there's some meetings that, we're several hours in and everybody's kind of glazed over toward the end, and, we're just not giving things our full attention when meetings run too long. So just wanted to kind of discuss ideas to limit packet size, like when should we call a special session if meetings are getting too long, just kind of what we need to do to keep it a little bit more manageable.
So I guess I'll start. Did you have any suggestions that you want to talk about first?
I just kind of wanted to hear where everybody else was.
Fair enough. All right, I saw Alderman Rucker's hand first.
Well, I concur, but I think that the tough part of it, and I can speak from being in administration side because I used to that was one of the things I had to do, is to try to keep the meetings controlled. To be very candid, you don't know how long people like me are going to talk.
That's very true.
I'll speak that. And you don't know how many questions they're going to ask, and that's tough on staff to do that. The one thing, though, is we did ask staff to help with is to try to keep the agenda controlled. And I don't know that we put a restriction, but I think we kind of gave some ideas that we didn't want to go to the end of the alphabet. We kind of wanted to stay closer to the middle. But that's, again, we don't want it to be more than a couple hours. Maybe some of us aren't living up to that and trying to shove too much onto the agenda, and we need to be helpful in that area as well. Not, I've got to have this, I've got to have this, I've got to have this, I need this. The fireworks is a very good example of it. That thing should have been turned in days ago, and we got down to the wire because we wanted to try to make it happen. So, but I would like to, some way or another, put the responsibility onto the mayor, because I think he's here on a daily basis, or a pretty regular basis, daily, but anyway.
Fairly regular recently, I'll tell you
Regularly,
that.
I would just say regularly. But to be the one that can help guide the staff to all of a sudden say, enough, we're at the end, item J is it, and we'll just take the rest of this stuff and we'll ask for another meeting. I would like for the meetings to be held no more than 2.5 hours. My brain starts to go bye-bye. And we also have to consider, regular meeting, and as is tonight, we're an hour and a half, but we've got a closed session, and so, I don't think there's a hard, fast rule, but I would support staff being able to try to pull the plug, but also, and if we got to, it means we just got to do another meeting. We've just got to do it quicker rather than a big agenda. So I don't really have an answer other than trying to work with them.
Okay, Alderman Hoffman.
One, I think we should probably limit presentations to 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most. I've noticed that just sometimes these presentations seem to be abnormally long. I think there's a fine line in there where we can say, look, you got 10 minutes to give us your info, figure it out. I think we should probably limit it to just one discussion piece per, not, we only have one tonight, but we had two. I think one is, if there's a discussion piece already on there, then that discussion can move back 2 weeks. Lastly, I think old business goes pretty quick typically. New business should probably be limited to maybe 10 items, or just say that anything past 7:30 gets tabled to the next meeting, and make it a hard stop at 7:30 so that we can get into executive session. Or if we don't have executive session, perhaps you can extend it to 8. Something along those lines.
Okay. Any other thoughts or suggestions? Alderman McKay.
Being the new one up here, I'm still learning as far as the length of the meetings. I thought a few of them right off the get-go were extremely long. I don't know if I agree with tabling it at 7:30, because sometimes you spend an extra 5 minutes to get it done versus prolong it or kicking it down the road. So I would object to having a firm stop point.
It's just an idea.
So, but I'm kind of my input there.
Fair enough. Alderman Collins, did you want to add anything yet based on any of those comments?
I wanted to hear what you had to say first.
Okay. Some of my thoughts are these. This was thrown out once upon in a casual conversation from one of the aldermen around, we'd like to limit meetings to only, I don't know what they said, 10 items, 20 items, whatever. And I said, that's not a problem. But I reserve the right to have the longest meeting that we need on the last meeting day of the year. So that will be right towards Christmas, and don't be afraid to pack your lunch, okay? Because we still have business to do, okay? And we have a $45 million budget. That means a lot of business, okay? And so I don't have all the answers, but I guess what I will say is I don't know that it's necessarily, I guess maybe it is mine, because, but if we're gonna limit it, then, and maybe it's quarterly instead of the last one at the year, but there's gonna be one meeting at the end of each quarter, for example. I'm just brainstorming with you right now. That'll be whatever we need to get done before that, okay? I guess I'm gonna ask a question to try to see, maybe it's a poll, we'll see how it goes. Would you rather have more meetings or longer meetings?
I'll just tell
We'll
you.
start with Alderman Hoppin down there, if you don't mind, because I saw it first, sorry.
I think there comes a point where it's more effective to have an extra meeting because you know, when you have a meeting go to 11 o'clock, which is what we had, I don't know, a month ago, that's too late. You know, when people are not making good decisions, I don't think, or they're just not fresh enough.
Okay.
I think there just comes a point where you just add the meeting and drop it.
Okay, Alderman McKay, any thoughts on that?
I agree with that.
Okay, Alderman Rucker?
More rather than longer than 2.5 hours.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say 2.5 hours, hit the gavel.
I get that. Try to stay in those boundaries, so I think what you're saying, would that be fair? Okay, Alderman Collins?
I agree. I think I would rather have more frequent meetings if they're tending to, like, we talked a couple of meetings ago about the beginning of summer, and there's a whole lot of business at the beginning of summer, right? So if we know that that's a busy time and we're looking at the agenda and we're on CC, because we've already used the alphabet, like, it's time to call a special meeting and divide that up.
Okay.
But there's some judgment there, right? So you can't necessarily say 10 items or 20 items because there's a whole lot of 20 easy items, or there's 4 really contentious ones. So, you can't, I don't think that we can necessarily have a rule that says 10 items, 20 items, letter J, letter C, whatever it is, without knowing what those things are. We had something a few weeks ago that, for Public Works, that was a really high dollar thing that took a lot of time because it's a whole lot of money that we're trying to spend. So it's one item, but it's really worth 10 liquor license approvals. There's just different values.
Right, and I think there's one, if I'm not wrong, but maybe it wasn't this year, I don't know that I was here, but we had a whole bunch of code updates, and there was just like a long list, so sometimes that happens. A couple of other things on the comments I'd like to add. One, we could limit our speaking to 3 to 5 minutes or whatever the number is if you guys want. I don't know that I need any opinions on that right at the moment, but that's an option we could consider. I heard presentations to 10 minutes. I'm going to suggest that we keep presentations to 5 minutes because they'll always take 5 minutes longer than what we give them. Okay? I've seen it too many times on presentations throughout my whole career. You give somebody 5, they'll take 10. So I think that if we tell them they have 5 minutes, that probably piques their opinion or their attention and gives them the thought that they need to be clear, succinct, concise, and quick. And I'm really good with that. So that's a thought. So go ahead.
So on that, I think there's differences, right? So like when they came a couple of weeks ago to give us the results of the study, right? If they've got 20 minutes worth of information that they need to give us that we paid for, then I want to hear the whole presentation, all 20 minutes of it. If it's somebody coming to ask us for something, then okay, I'm fine with a limit. But if it's somebody giving us information, particularly that we paid a lot of money for, I don't want to say, hey, you need to condense this into 10 minutes. I want to hear it. And I'm all for, now I'm talking really long, but I'm all for limiting how much we speak, but we have to be able to ask all of the questions that we have to make an informed decision before we vote.
Appreciate the thoughts. Alderman Hoppin, I saw yours first.
I think if we give them 10 minutes, they can find a way to get that information into 10 minutes. I've just sat through enough presentations, and even the really good ones that were 20 minutes, I think could have been 10. I think maybe we should do, hey, it's 5 minutes, you can request more time, and they can justify it in some way why they need 10 minutes. Okay, cool. But I don't think when we give them an unlimited, because I know I've personally been here where it was 45 minutes and I was like, what are we doing? So, and as far as us individually, I don't think even Alderman Rucker, I just don't think any of us are up here spinning our wheels and talking too much. So I don't really have a problem with that.
Okay. Alderman Rucker?
I think the board needs to take a little ownership here. We need to do our homework. We need to read our packets. We beat up on staff, sell them, get it, pack it up to us on Friday. Tar didn't get this last one out, but it wasn't her fault. When the computer goes boom, the computer goes boom.
I read them every Saturday
You know,
morning, so.
So I think that, and the other thing is pick up the phone and call staff when you have a question. Doesn't mean you can't ask that question again at the meeting, but ask that question. So that way you will get your answer, and maybe you don't have to ask it at the meeting, or if you do, the staff is ready to answer that question publicly. Those are some things I think we can do to help move things along.
Okay. Devin, I believe you had something you'd like to add.
Yeah. So I'm just going to speak from my previous experience. Ultimately, this is your all's meeting. You are the elected officials. This meeting is for you to conduct business. It's very unusual to have staff comments. I think there's other ways to get you guys that information. I think we spend just as much time making comments as we do conducting business, and that's just not efficient. And so, you know, I'm not saying there's not going to be situations where there's going to be some emergency that the staff needs to communicate with you, but just to go around and talk, I don't think that's efficient. So ultimately, like that's what we can get you updates. We could do a weekly memo. There's other ways to get you guys communicated with, or come in and talk to us, or whatever. But that's my 2 cents worth, is the department comments part.
Okay, Alderman Hoffman.
Yeah, unfortunately, I totally disagree with that. I like hearing from the staff. I want them to have the opportunity to be out on record and be recognized by the community, speaking in public and talking about their departments. I think it's a very valuable part of our meeting.
Okay. Any other thought, Alderman Collins?
So I'm on the fence on that. So I am completely on board for anybody who I really just want to come speak on my department at the meeting. Absolutely do it. If you would prefer to email a statement ahead of time, whatever your preferred method of communication is, then I'm completely, I think that's a great idea. Unless somebody really, if they want to do it, then I want to hear it from whoever wants to speak. But if you don't really want to and you think it's a chore and you really hate that part of your job, then by all means, scrap it.
Okay.
One last thing, if I could. They already have that option. I hear plenty of times, nothing to add, Mr. Mayor. And I have no problem with the department head saying, no, I have nothing to add tonight. But if they do have something to say, I want to hear them say it.
Well, I think it's kind of, I'm going to speak for staff because I've heard this. I think there's some pressure. There's been some board members that, you know, absolutely want to hear somebody say something. And I'm not a big fan of just talking to talk. And so.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Go ahead, Alderman.
I think it was impressed upon staff that you have to. Yes, yeah, I feel that I see a lot of the head shaking, and I don't think that's appropriate.
That's the first I've heard of it, and I will just say, as a leader of that organization, there's no reason for that. If you all have something important to say or you feel adds value, you're more than welcome. But there's no need to speak just because you feel like someone thinks you should, okay? Does anybody need any further clarity on that? Okay. All right.
Agree 100%, but that's not been the feeling of the past.
Absolutely. Sorry, I had no idea that there was that kind of feeling. I apologize that I didn't know that. Somehow I missed it. Alderman Hoffman.
I didn't know that either, and if it was interpreted from me that way, I apologize because it wasn't. But I just want everyone to have an opportunity to speak. It's never bothered me once when someone said, I have nothing to add tonight. Okay, pass on the mic.
Right, absolutely. Okay. Any other suggestions or thoughts? What I would suggest is that we take this feedback, we start becoming cognizant of the length and trying to, for lack of a better term, estimate the time needed. We've heard 2.5 hours would be a nice target to minimize, or less. I think that's what I heard. And then when we see that we may be at risk of exceeding that, then we may have to consider an extra meeting. How does that sound at this point? And we'll see how that goes. Very good. Can we move on? Any concerns? All right. Next is staff communications. Okay, so here we go.
No pressure.
I have nothing this evening.
I was going to call on Chief Todd Davis first because I still owe him a couple, so I'm trying to get my bill down. Chief Davis.
I have nothing. I had mine earlier.
Okay. City Clerk Tara Breth.
I have nothing.
City Administrator Devin Lake.
I have nothing this evening.
Assistant City Administrator April White.
Mayor, members of the board, I feel really bad, but I have some stuff.
That's okay.
So Eric wanted me to report that 3-day, he will be back tomorrow, by the way, so we're all very glad about that. There is a 3-day baseball tournament starting tomorrow at City Park, and last I heard, there's 22 teams coming from 12U to 14U, so there will be a lot of people in town for that. The Hatchery Ridge Trail grand opening is this Sunday from 1 to 4 at the City Park, and the ribbon cutting's at 2. And then as many of you know, the digital sign at the west end of town has been down for about a week. So thank you to Tara for alerting us last week when she saw that the software was offline and then the router malfunctioned was the issue. And then thank you to IT Director Michael Bean for going above and beyond outside of what he should do for the sign, but he got it fixed this afternoon. So all is well there. And that's all I have.
Thank you, April. City Official Ron White.
I have nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Human Resources Director Madeline Moon.
I'm quickly going to run through open positions. We have 12 open positions currently. For admin, we've got Public Information Officer and Marketing and Development Director currently posted. Emergency Services, we've got 2 openings in dispatch. And for Public Works, we have a Transportation Technician, Sewer Crew Lead, and Sewer Tech that are currently posted. And that Transportation Tech is part-time. Parks is still seeking for 2 seasonal positions. And under review, we currently have Airport Seasonal, IT Support Specialist, and Water Tech are currently doing interviews and reviewing applications. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Public Works Director Jeff Fisher. City Planner Carrie Patterson. Talk real loud, go ahead.
Crap, I do have something to say. So I spent most of the last few days going over the 171 pages that I got from Victus for our sports study, and have sent back my comments on that, which were very few. So they will be finishing up that as well as adding their executive summary and getting that back to me. So at that point, I'll probably look for a couple of folks that would be interested in reading through that to make sure that they don't have any comments. And our marketing group will be coming in on the 23rd of June, and I have set meetings with some citizen and community leaders to meet with them on the 23rd, and so we are getting that process started. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. City Treasurer Carrie Bell.
Nothing
It's good to see you, by the way, here.
Thank you. I'm still got a little, but nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll start with the Alderman. We're going to start on that side. Alderman Collins.
I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Rucker.
I have one thing. Back on May the 7th, we had a request for information from Mr. Greg Peter, an email. Can we get the information together to him and send a copy?
I called him, explained what I knew about it. He seemed satisfied, and I told him that he could give me a call if he had any further questions. We had about a 15-minute conversation.
Okay, very good. That's all I have.
Thank you. Alderman McKay.
I have nothing this evening either.
Alderman Hoffman.
I have nothing this evening.
Well, I am going to say that I believe that there should, if we're going to have a meeting with us, there should always be recognition, because there's always something good going on around here. And so I'm going to take a couple of quick seconds and recognize a couple of people. And the first person I want to recognize is April White. She took on a week, or almost a week and a half, of a whole lot of people being gone on vacation, and she did a stellar job. I don't know if she slept much, but I can't thank her enough for how she supported me and how she supported the staff while a whole lot of people were on vacation. You did a great job, and thank you. Okay. Secondly, I want to recognize Carrie Patterson. We got her unique request a week ago. Well, I guess it was last Friday. All the days run together. And it was something that we didn't see coming, and Carrie provided some very great insights, research, and got us down a path that moved us along that I can't thank you enough for what you did. You kind of stepped up and stepped out of the lane, and you did a great job, so thank you very much. All right? And that's all I have. This public portion of the meeting is adjourned. We now need to go into executive session, so notice is given that the agenda includes a roll call vote to close the meeting as allowed by RSMO Section 610.0211, legal actions, causes of action, or litigation involving a public governmental body and any confidential or privileged communications between a public governmental body or its representative and its attorneys. So I need a motion to go into public or executive session, please.
Comment?
Sure, go right
The
ahead.
public session is not closed.
It's adjourned. Did
No.
I say closed?
No, you said adjourned. It can't be adjourned. We have to adjourn it after the closed session, sir.
Okay, fair enough. I was
Sorry,
just
I'm
trying to
not
let
trying to
people
be
know we were
techie.
moving to executive session. The words adjourns here on them, so we'll get that cleaned up.
Yeah.
I'm still learning too, so I appreciate that. All right, but I do need a motion to go into
Motion to go into
executive session.
executive session.
Alderman Rucker, do I hear a second?
Second.
Alderman Collins, all those in favor?
Aye. Roll call.
Oh, that's right, roll call. Thank you.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman McKay?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Collins?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen? Alderman George?
Motion carries. We have 5 minutes at 7:30. We're going to convene in the boardroom. Thank you all very much.